Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our fourth episode of our DIH Talks this morning. And as you already can see, I'm not alone today. But first, to introduce myself, my name is Joe Clemens. I started at Lux Innovation nearly a year ago, and I'm part of the Digital Innovation Hub as my colleague Nicolas.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nicolas Sanitas. I'm part of the DIH team, also as Joe, and I joined Lux Innovation 1.5 years ago.
So today is actually the last episode before the summer break, but it seems that we hit quite an interesting topic because we have more than 110 registrations for our seminar, and we are also a bit proud of that one, I have to admit, so quite cool. But before entering into the subject, maybe just some information on the tool handling. Let me just share the screen, just a moment. So just be aware that the session will be recorded, and you will get the link of the recording right after we have finished today. But it will also be available on the Lux Innovation YouTube channel, so you can go there anytime and replay it. Regarding the tool, there are the basic features that most of you know, like chat. You find it on the lower right-hand corner. An important one is once our speakers of today are presenting and questions are coming up, please send your questions in the question section, because this is actually the area that is monitored by Nicola and myself, and we will by that also moderate then the Q&A right after each speaker. We have today two polls that will become available in the next seconds by our colleague from Marcom, Nathalie. One will be at the beginning, one at the very end. And last not least, you can also see who is connected to our session today. Now, before we go into the topic, just for those that do not know who we are from the Luxembourgish Digital Innovation Hub. We describe ourselves often as the hubbing or the actor or the networker between all the different actors we have in the manufacturing sector here in Luxembourg, which are, of course, all the companies that are in production, linking them to IT providers, providers for OT, OEMs, research institutions, and many others. And with sessions like the one of today, we basically like to inform, inspire, share information, particularly share success stories. And when we get in closer contact, particularly with the clients, we listen to the challenges, and depending on what we learn, we connect the right parties to each other. Last not least, we are part of of the Greater Region network that we are extending more and more, and that's all meant to better support you on everything related to your journey on digital transformation. And one concrete example we like to share today, it's actually the DIH.lu webpage. And Nicola, I'm pretty sure you can say a lot more than me about this one.
Yeah, sure, thank you. So during the registration, 15% of our audience indicated that they learned about this webinar through precisely the DIH website. Certainly, some of you are still not aware about this platform, and we want to use this webinar to introduce you to it. So this website, basically it aims to be the focal point of the Industry 4.0 community here in Luxembourg. In order to do so, and as we speak, the three main pillars of the platform are: first, a news section in which we regularly, that's to say every 10-15 days, publish some inspiring articles that could be proposed by you, the manufacturers, as the providers, and based on your proven experience in the Industry 4.0 field. There's also an events section. Here you'll find any information concerning all the initiatives we are putting in place, such as, for example, this webinar, but also the Smart Manufacturing Week organized months ago, or even the DIH on Tour, which returns this autumn. And last but not least, we have a marketplace through which manufacturers and providers can make themselves known to each other, respectively by expressing their expectation or by presenting their expertise. In the use what we sell approach, we try to establish a continuous discussion with the users of this website, that means you, in order to stick as much as possible to your needs and thus to increase your sense of belonging to the Luxembourg DIH community. So in the context, in this precise context, we would like to propose you the first poll of this webinar. And based on the feedbacks already received by you from our various discussions, from various channels, below there's a collection of services that could be proposed to be added in our DIH.lu website. And that's very important for us to benefit from being here with you, to know which of this proposition could be the most important for you. So I don't know, Joe, how many times do we...
Yeah, the poll is now placed. You can fill it out by now. And if you submit, we will immediately see the result. And we will share it at the end. But please, throughout the session, feel free to go into the poll section.
Yeah. So I do the same.
Okay, so moving ahead, today it's everything around data management and data analytics. So that's what we have. And Nicola, you really helped me here finding interesting speakers. And I think exactly, and you can introduce them far better than me.
Yeah, no problem. So without further delay, our first pair of speakers I would like to present you. So one represents a manufacturer of technical flows. This includes synthetic floors suitable for indoor sports, but also, for example, for outdoor athletic tracks. Please welcome Olivier Louis, R&D expert at Mondo. He's accompanied today by Baptiste Jachier, Head of Innovation Laboratory at Soprasteria, an IT services group present throughout the world, including Luxembourg with nearly 200 employees. Welcome, guys. The floor is yours.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Let me share my screen. Okay.
Perfect. All right, I will start. So first of all, thank you, Joachim and Nicola and the whole Lux Innovation team for giving us the opportunity for Mondo and Soprasteria to be part of this L-DIH Talks. So I will start off the presentation with a quotation of Carly Fiorina, ex-CEO of HP. So the goal is to turn data into information and information into insight. So as you well know, data is the new oil and everyone wants to launch data analytics projects, but you need to define for what purpose. So you need to define goals and outcomes for this kind of project. Collecting data is an important part of a project, of course, but it's only the tip of the iceberg. So to give the data and the numbers a meaning, you need to understand your own business and you need to understand your own processes. Mondo knows well that business and processes, but I will leave the floor to Olivier, who is well better positioned to present Mondo. Olivier, Olivier.
Thank you, Baptiste. So for those who don't know Mondo, Mondo has been in Luxembourg for decades now. We've been installing in Fürth and since 1977, where about 100 full-time equivalents are employed. We are part of a larger group based essentially in Italy, but we also have factories in Spain. Italy, they produce basically rubber flooring, but they are mostly known for the athletic tracks, which are used all over the world, especially in all the Olympic Games since 1976 in Montreal. So everywhere it was always Mondo tracks. In Spain, they also produce artificial turf for football and all the other sports. And in Luxembourg, we are specialized in rubber flooring, which are used either in civil buildings like hospitals, sport halls. So we sell all those rubber flooring for the sport halls all over the world, as well as the flooring for transportation for public vehicles like trams, tram, or metro. And here's a picture of the Luxembourg metro. And next time you take the metro, just look at your feet. You are standing on something which is produced in Fürth in Luxembourg. Now, as a present state to introduce this project, so we realize we have a real need for improvement to reduce our paperwork over here, which is we use too much of paper still, with the risk of errors in manual entries. In 3 or 4 or 5 years from now, we will not be able to read everything anymore. Maybe the ink will disappear. It's not easy to read. So we need to improve the processes for retrieval, the statistics and everything. So it's not that easy so far. We also have to improve the link between the raw material stock management and our ERP, which is something which normally we should do for ages, but we still have to improve that. We also have to improve our production data gathering, like temperatures, speed, pressures, energy consumption. Energy is quite important these days. So we have to get onto this. We also need to improve our statistical tool to analyze the physical properties of the finished products. So we are still too much based on Excel, and it is not what we are looking for the next decades. So we see several opportunities for improvement on that side. So therefore, we took profit of the large program L-DIH, which was launched by Luxembourg, thanks to Europe, based on the COVID recovery. With those projects, we recover 50% of the costs. So we launched a large project for not only digitalization, but digitalization is only the translation of the processes which we are going to change. And this is about a 2 years long time project. So it's a big project for us. So basically it's articulated onto 3 main work packages. The first one goes with the mixing data. So we are mixing our own rubbers over here. So we have mixers, and we have to record all the data from there, which are so far too much of a standalone on the machines. So we need to capture the temperatures, the speed, the rotor speed, the amperage, the energy consumption, and so on and so forth. And those have to be transferred somewhere. We also need to transfer the data from the production line, so where we produce our rubber flooring. We talk about, again, temperatures, pressures, speed of the line, and all kind of things which are recorded along the lines. We also have in place a plan to introduce the camera system to capture all the defects, all the defaults online. And there's also many kind of data which have to be transferred and captured onto a server somewhere. And with that, as I mentioned before, we also have to digitalize all the various new processes. So we are reviewing all our processes to make them simpler, easier. We've been doing stuff for the last 10 years because we have been doing stuff the same way. So we have to change this. And it's a real company change. So based on that, we went into we developed a specification for this, and then we approached 7 different IT companies in Luxembourg, all of them, and we selected Soprasteria based on the technical and commercial approach. Also, this chart will show you the overall data architecture, which we will try to get together. So in the bottom on the upper left side, you see the rubber mixers, where we have the data which are collected onto servers from a given provider. And on the other way, we also have the so-called rubber flooring production lines, where we also will gather all those informations onto the server, but they have to speak with our current ERP. as well as speaking with the servers which Soprasteria is going to install. And so we also ask Soprasteria to develop all kinds of business intelligence reports for us so that we can play with the data. So we have to, from the user side, whether we are located in our office or from home, because we also want to develop the homework, we need to be able to go and compare all kind of production, all kind of mixing data which we have generated over time, and not only go into the pack of files or folders which we have gathered over the last years. So this is what we want to change, and it's a big process change for us. And there I give the word to Baptiste.
Thank you, Olivier. So I will describe a bit the BI strategy behind this project. So generally with BI project, we can say there is two main phases, the regular BI phase and the data mining phase. So the main difference between the two phases is that the regular BI phase is used to create reporting and dashboards to see the actual state of a company based on historical data and take decisions based on them. The data mining part is the next step and is about looking forward and is about anticipation and projection. So on this slide, we will focus here on the first phase, which has as outputs as before, reporting and dashboards. So in a traditional BI project, we have main components, which you can see there. So we have, first of all, the data sources. So Olivier mentioned it before. In Mondo's case, we have different data sources like the ERP. We've got data generated from their mixers, from their production lines. And we also plan to develop some specific applications for Mondo to collect extra information. The second component is the ETL. So ETL is a tool, extract, transform, load, and it's used to extract the data from the previous different data sources and transform the data for homogenization. You can't just extract the data as is from a different information system because they are different. So you need to extract them, manipulate them, and then load them in a storage. And so this is the third component, which is the data warehouse, which is the database, which will collect all the different information from the different information system. And then, of course, the last step, the fourth component, is the dashboard and reporting, which is directly plugged to the data warehouse. Something very important about the dashboards is to really create difference between different roles and the profile who are going to consume the information. A top manager doesn't want to have the same information as a technician who is next to a production line. So it implies that you need to build your dashboards based on the requirements and on your consumer. On top of that, the most tricky part of this overall process review is the collecting data. Mondo, thanks to their working packages like Olivier described before, will be able to collect data automatically from the mixers, from the production lines. But some other process, and also to create the link between different information systems, will need some manual action. And so this applies that you have also change management inside it, because you really have to ask the technicians who maybe for years did the same actions and now needs to have an additional step for this production so that you can later on extract this information and create the link in your dashboard. So this is also something very important for Mondo, is to follow up their change management and is to clarify and accompany their employees to explain them the benefits of all this strategy so that they understand why we need to manipulate now, have more actions in their production in the day-to-day tasks. So, and that was it for this presentation. Do we have any questions? Or Olivier, if you want to add something?
We do not. Oh, there is a first question coming in. Baptiste, how long did you need to create the specification for the project? So I guess it's more a question to Olivier, in fact.
I would say about, let's say, about a month.
About a month. For all three work packages to be. Yeah. Interesting. And oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I mean, yeah, it's a relatively large project. It took us a while, but basically just to come up with the spec, it took about a month. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And we have a question from Cesare. being part of an international group was a problem or a plus for this project? Yeah.
No, actually, it's not really that much of a problem because we were acting relatively independently here. So we have a, let's say, when we talk about the ERP is about the same, but it's like elephants from Asia and Africa. Whenever they develop themselves, and then they get big ears in Africa and not in Asia. So the ERP was the same, and they developed over time a bit differently. So we are relatively independent from that side.
Thank you, Olivier. Question for Baptiste. Is the data warehouse on-prem or in the cloud? And which technology are you using for?
So on this project, it's on-premise solution strategy. So we have on-premise servers, which Mondo give us, and then we have also, so for the technology used behind this, so we have SQL databases. We use a Microsoft Power BI solution for creating dashboards, and the Talent as an ETL.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, then we have a question that it's about, does the solution also create automatic alerts, I guess for the production particularly, and did it create SPCs? Is there any alerting on?
Is it a question from Christophe Petit or?
Question from your peer, yeah, Christophe Petit from Avery.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah, I think the question is about, I mean, all the dashboarding that you have developed, is it just the reporting data, or do you have also something, I mean, alerts that are probably sent back into the production people to do something?
Okay, we intend to install some limits, like alert limits as well, correct. So depending on the application on the topics, yes, there will be some alert limit. We will install some min-max, and we'll try also to introduce some SPCs. That's right.
Actually, I have a question, if you don't mind. It's about the data gathering from the machines. The machines were already interconnected before, and you directly connected into the controllers, or how did you do it technically?
No. Actually, we had to get the support as well. Where we had to hire contractors, which are automaticians, to create those connections between the machines and the computers and the servers, so that Baptiste can pick up the data. So for both mixers and production lines, there are different subcontractors which also have to get their part on. So it's also a big step up there.
Okay, thank you. Nicolas, would you like to take the next one?
Yeah, a question from Virgil. What about the treatment of the data at the origin? So the solution to start the data journey, as mentioned, regarding the quality of data, the extraction of data. Baptiste, perhaps can you?
It's a very good question. So, in fact, there is some work to do because, for example, they have to extend the ERP because this dashboarding, of course, needs some specific fields. And based on your requirements in the dashboards, you will need some data that you hadn't before. So, on their part, Mondo is working with some other teams and with other third provider to enlarge their ERP. And on our side, we plan to develop some applications so that if application is not stored, information is not stored in the ERP directly, and they will be collected through a different way. But of course, the data journey and the preparation of data is the most important step of this kind of project.
Okay, and there's a question linked to that. It's actually what technology was used for driving the ETL and to build the data warehouse.
That's already.
I think it was answered, but maybe just to say.
I can repeat. So for the ETL, we use a Talent tool, and for the dashboarding solution, it's a Microsoft Power BI solution on premise server.
And a question regarding the scalability, let's say, of this project. Christophe is asking if this project is intended to be used only in FUTs or will it be used in all your premise, in all your facilities?
No, it's basically primarily used in FUTs here in Luxembourg.
Okay.
We are relatively independent in terms of systems. So yeah, but maybe whatever I mean, there is also an entity in Italy which is relatively similar to ours. So whatever we gain from there, I'm sure that they will also benefit from it over there as well. Maybe we will test this, and then they might reproduce it or copy it in Italy. I'm sure. I mean, of course, if it works and if we show it works and make it a success for us, I mean, they will be for sure interested in duplicating that over there.
Olivier, and there's also an interesting question about the team that was actually driving the project. How big it was? Were the people fully dedicated? Was it IT? Was it production? Was it back office people? How did you organize it?
Well, it's like an orchestra. You need a conductor and players. I am the conductor of the orchestra, and then I need to make sure that the players play the same song and play in the same way. So we are conducting regular meetings. I need to make sure I mean, I'm running the show, but many people work as well. So I need to get them on board. We have a monthly meeting with management, and I insist on that. So that because we need the support from management, because I need time from the people to work. It's something which is out of their regular work, so they make it on top. But we need to get there. So it was a decision taken, and thanks God they took it. It's a unique opportunity to make the changes, and sometimes changes are quite difficult to grave into people's mind. But when you show them the advantages and then the futures of this, they say, yeah, it makes sense, let's do it. So it's a matter of you need to hammer and show the future advantages of this.
Okay, and then linked to that, that's from our friend Raymond, the question, how big was the training effort at the end
let's say, no, there is no such training as such yet, because we are only at the beginning of it. So there will be, of course, a big training, especially when we talk about the floor operators. I mean, we will ask them to, I mean, they are not used, all of them, to work with computers, but they will have to. So we will install various computers in the working shops, and they will have to play with that. And for sure, I mean, it's a win-win if they, or lose-lose. If they don't use it properly, we will get bad data. So the training will be very, very important on that field. That's a good question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, this question is in line with what we see more and more from the DIH, if I can say so, that the technology is there. Don't underestimate the people element in all these kind of projects. It's not a matter, to our opinion, I would say, anymore of the maturity of the technology. It's more how you do it and take your people with you. That's
your culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Because people might use paper today, but they might use it well. And if they use the computer in a bad way, I mean, we don't gain. Okay.
To stick to our time limits, and thank you already, Olivier and Baptiste, for the insights you have shared. Very interesting, and also compliment to the audience. Quite good questions, I have to say. And Nicolas, you like to introduce the next couple?
Yeah. Now let's welcome another global actor. If you have ever had to work at AIDS, you will certainly know them. For over 40 years, they have been offering 100 different types of equipment to meet the needs of construction, industry, logistics, and so on. Today, Mateco is represented by David Yenal, Head of Business Intelligence. And at his side, Mohamed Dibassi, data architect at EDA. If EDA doesn't ring a bell, the name was changed less than 1 year ago. You probably know the entity by its former name, C Services. The 130 EDA collaborators deliver the Luxembourg market services from 130 collaborators, deliver the Luxembourg market services ranging from software development to cloud computing and data. Gentlemen, please be our guest.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Today, I will be presenting the concept of data intelligence. So, about us, my name is Mohamed Dibassi. I'm a Microsoft BI, Power BI, Azure Data Architect at EDA. And Mateko is one of our clients with whom I'm working since 2020. I will let David Guénard introduce himself. So, in the agenda today, we will see with David, we will present to who we are and what we do. Then we will show you what is data intelligence, the whole process, the use case, the benefits in this use case, and then the question and answer. Like with David, we will have 5 minutes to answer your questions if you have questions. EDA. The company EDA was founded in 2005 and focuses its activity on doing business in Luxembourg. Today, EDA is more than, sorry, maybe there is a small issue in my site. Let me check. Okay. So I was saying EDA is over 30 active customers. We are also over 100 employees. What do? We provide IT services in software development, data intelligence, enterprise content management, cloud and infrastructures. I will let David present Mateko.
David, you have a problem? We cannot hear you at the moment.
Oh.
David, can you hear us? I think there is a connection problem, something.
Yes, I think.
Mohamed, maybe you take over?
Okay, so let me present you a little bit Mateko. So Mateko Group is one of the leading suppliers for renting and working platform. The fleet of the Mateko Group rental equipment is currently over 40,000 working platforms in more than 700 different designs, with 150, even more, I think. They have location in Europe, Panama, Chile, and different other countries. They are present in Africa, 80 strong partners around the world, and Mateko pursue a clear goal to supply the best and high access technology for their customer. That has made Mateko one of the industry professional over 40 years now. And today, to give you some key information, Mateko rental fleet consists of trucks and trailers mounted working platform. They also do services, training, scissor and telescopic working platform, spatial working platform, etc., etc. So if I had to present Mateko, this is how I would present Mateko. I will continue with the presentation. I will tell you what is data intelligence. To introduce easily the data intelligence or BI in reference to business intelligence, I like to start by saying all business operate with data. Data from the finance department, the trade department, the service department, the HR department, or any other department, as well as it can come from applications such as CRM, ERP, etc. Those data can be images, they can be also database, they can be sensor data, locations, emails, social media, click streams, HTML logs, etc., etc. In BI, we call those data input or sources, and those sources can be both internal and external to your business. One of the main purpose of data intelligence is to take those data from different sources and then save it in one place to make it available for analysis. The analysis of those data give you a better visibility about what is going on your market, but also on your business. What does it mean? It means a clear vision, a clear picture of the market and your business conditions. To turn raw data into relevant and actionable business insight, you will have to collect, clean, validate, structure the data, and then analyze it. The reason is simple. Any misinterpretation, any error, any lack of information may create a distorted view of the market and internal operation, which may lead to a poor decision or bad decision. So the data intelligence or BI can be defined as a set of practice of collecting, structuring, analyzing, and turning raw data into actionable business insights. The whole process of data intelligence can be divided in 4 stages: data gathering, data cleaning or standardizations, analyzing or exploitations, and then reporting. So the whole process, as I've said in the beginning, the data are coming from different sources. It can be different applications, CRM, ERP. It can be different from department like HR department, finance department, etc. And those data can be images, CSV files, and they can be also database, SQL database. They can be Excel files. We call this input or sources. Okay. So then you will have to extract and load those data in one place. Here in Mateko, this place is the data lake. Okay. Before analyzing the data, you will have to validate, clean, structure, transform. Let me give you an example. You will see, for example, in the service department, they have information about the machines, the model of the machine, and the date of purchase. And they will call a model MX200. And in the trade department, the same model is being called MX2, which is not the same naming. They will have, for example, the purchase date in the format years, month, and date. In the trade service, they will have it in date, months, and years. As I say, any error, any misinterpretation can lead to can create a distorted view of the market and lead to a bad decision. So before analyzing the data, you will have to clean them, structure them, and transform them. And in BI, we call this extract, load, and transform task data engineering. And in Mateco, the place where we store those clean and structured data is called the data warehouse. Okay. Now the exploitation. The exploitation can be divided also in 3 stages. The descriptive analysis. The descriptive analysis will answer the question what was happening and what is happening. Then the second stage is the predictive analysis. It makes forecasts about future business trends. And the last one is the prescriptive analysis. It gives you recommendation on to a business problem and suggests the action to solve them. So this last step is generally done by data scientists, but to also analyze the data is one thing, to consume it, it's another thing. The reporting can be divided in 3 categories. The decision-making reporting, and Power BI is very good at presenting actionable business insight. For example, a manager who want to have a 360 overview on some measure, some KPI, will use today Power BI through a decision-making reporting. He would like, for example, to see the margin by month, the margin by department, by regions, or the margin by customer categories. So Power BI is very good for presenting those kind of KPI. This is what we call decision-making reporting. The second reporting will be the operational reporting. And the operational reporting is about operational data used for daily tasks, such as a customer who called. We need to quickly get the information about what he is using to buy, the color, the size of the machine, the price, etc., etc. And the last one is ad hoc reporting. Okay. The ad hoc reporting are created for one-time use to find the answer to a specific business question, such as how many calls a salesperson made yesterday. So these 3 main categories of reporting are available, and we are using today at Mateco Power BI to do this. The data lake, of course, it's a Azure technology, and the data warehouse, we are using the SQL database. Once that is said, let's see a use case. CE in Mateco, the customer engagement responsible wanted to have a better understanding of the buying behavior of Mateco customers. So he asked us that he asked an analysis of customer behavior. And the second objective is that he wanted to combine multiple data sources, data from the rental application, data from the CRM, the CE, customer engagement, the ERP application, etc., etc. He also wanted to improve the customer's services. He wanted to maximize the margin for the company, which will generate additional revenue if possible. And he also wanted the company to be more responsive to the market.
Moment, sorry to disturb. I think you have, I don't know how many slides you still have planned, but I think you have to speed up. We are getting over time. Sorry.
Yeah, this is the last slide.
Thank you.
So here, this is a page of the 360 overview report. So this is how it looks like. It's helped to have some benefits that we are going to see here in the last page. The first benefit was the increase of efficiency. The new report provides management with real-time insight for machines sold, rented, and stock level. It shows also the impact of the result of pending tasks to do, the information related to the duration and number of repair machines for fields or workshop services. And those information lead to an increase of efficiencies. The second benefit is the improve of customer experience and engagement. The customer has a complicated job. Finding the right balance between brand, model, size, color, and prices is not easy. And Power BI displays sales and rental history. It provides information related to what is ordered, the status, and the cost and revenue by machine and spare part. The analysis of those data improve customer experience and engagement. The third benefit is that this simplify also planning and make it easier to negotiate next season purchases. Buying behavior analysis has potential in terms of marketing. Also, it is something for the future. The management is now able to closely track the performances of store and sales or rental assistant and then optimize its profitability. Thank you for your time. If you have questions, so with David, we will answer your questions.
Thank you, Mohamed, and sorry to the audience that obviously we had here a technical problem. David, can you talk again? Maybe a test for the Q&A? No, I think we can still not hear you, unfortunately. Mohamed, then the questions will go to you. So far, nothing in, but maybe a question from my side. On the last slide, you had nicely shown that the project were even providing advantages for the customer base, customer engagement. How were the customer base included into the project?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Did you somehow include key customers into the project in order to have an impact on the engagement?
Of course, this report is for the user. So we had a weekly meeting with the customer engagement responsible. There were like 5 people. So in this meeting, we were defining the different measures based on the goal. And of course, once it's done, they test, they validate it, and then we pass to production. We cannot do it without them. This is for them. And if they are not using it, it's useless.
Okay. And those dashboards are made available also towards the customers, or is just providing customer-centric information internally?
It's not it's toward the customer. It's just something like, for now, there is like two use of this report. The first one is an embedding report. So most of the time when the customer calls, the employees by the customer numbers is getting the information to the of the customer, but the customer has no vision of this. It's the employees who use this report so to have a better understanding of the customer behavior.
Okay, thank you. Nicola, you have something?
From the starting of the project to the first, let's say the first operational version, MVP, how many time did you need?
How many time did we spend on this report? You mean?
Yeah, starting at the very beginning of the project, how many time did you need to release a first operational version of this dashboard that was used by management at Analytical?
First, the report is not yet finished. We did a first draft version after, let's say, 2 months and a half. This is a huge report. And the time for me, 2 months and a half was short because we already had the data. Sometimes it can take more based on the availability of the data and the complexity of the KPI. So we cannot estimate it that easy, but the first draft version was available after 2 months and a half.
Okay, I think we do not have more questions, and then I would recommend we go ahead. There is one coming, just a second moment. Regarding the whole process described, do you think that all this could be achieved with open source tools?
Today with Python, yes, but one thing is important, okay? This is something where the security is very important. And with Microsoft, we have not to be focusing on the administration of the data security. That's the first point. The second thing is that if you want to use open source, you will have to use a different visual reporting tools, a different ETL tools, a different storage tools. Today we are on Microsoft because with Microsoft you have Power BI to consume your data, you have SQL Server or Azure database to store, you stay on the same brand, and you have no connection issue. But this is a choice. It depends on the budget and the target and the size of the company.
Okay, interesting answer, Mohamed. Thank you very much. So if there are no further questions, I propose to go ahead. And I mean, maybe just to give some feedback on our first poll, where we were asking on new set of services on our DIH. So we have about 30% voting for more success stories, sharing things like that on our web pages. Again, about 30% on assistant matchmaking between manufacturers and providers. And 30% indeed confirms that the DIH webpage is not enough known so far. That would also include then our marketplace. So something, a good message for us where we can improve. Thank you very much for that one.
Thank you for your time.
And let me just share now, we come to our third element, which is our sneak review. And today I'd like to introduce Christina Coleman. She is Managing Director of Revisione, and a company that exists already for several years in Saarland, and they just started this year the operation in Luxembourg, and we will also have now the opportunity to listen to a very nice success story in Luxembourg already. Christina, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Okay, just let me share my presentation. So now you should see the slides. Hello to everyone. My name is Christina Kormann. I'm CEO of Provisions SRL. I will tell you something more about the company later on. But first of all, I want to introduce a use case about the implementation of a data analytics platform for one of our customers. When I'm talking about our customer, I'm talking about SEO, Société Électrique de Lourdes, a Luxembourgish company who is operating in the energy sector. They are, for example, running the pumped storage power plant in Vianden, as well as several wind farms. When we started to talk to CEO, they had a management and stakeholder reporting about the most important operating KPIs, which was very manually driven. That means that there was a guy who had to take the exercise to take the data out of some databases every month, to transform that data, add information, put it together in excellent PowerPoint, and then to create a PDF to send it to the management and stakeholders. As they were currently modernizing their IT infrastructure and migrating the databases to a more modern platform, they saw the opportunity to automate these processes, and that's where we came into play. So our starting point was there was no specific data analysis layer at the customer. There were several databases and core systems which were run separately. And the reporting was characterized by manual processes, which means manual collection of data, manual creation of PDF documents, and the manual delivery of these PDF documents via mail. What we did in the meantime is not only to modernize the front end and the visualization of the reporting, but we set up a holistic and generic data platform, which is able to run this use case, but also to scale for lots of more analytical questions. On the next slide, you can see now the architecture of our platform, which is fully based on Microsoft technology. The first challenge we had was to, sorry, can you? Okay, sorry, there was a mistake with the slides. The first challenge we had was to connect their self-hosted databases with the cloud platform, which means we had to set up a connector which connects their network, their internal network, with the Microsoft Azure cloud. After that, we took out the data out of the databases and brought it into our platform with some ETL process. You can see this part in the middle of the graphic, and this platform is a collection of several Azure SQL databases, which consists of a so-called layer architecture. The staging layer contains the raw data, which is loaded on a daily basis, whereas the data from the day before is deleted. In the data storage layer, we only take the data we need, also in the form of a daily load. So here we are setting up the data history. And then we come to the data mart layer, which is structured in professional topics. So the data marts are professional topics such as finance or operations or everything else. And these data marts are building the core for our dashboards. The dashboards are designed with Microsoft Power BI, a self-service dashboarding tool, as we already see and heard in the former speeches. So now the customer does not only have a monthly reporting, but dashboards who are updated on a daily basis. Of course, they also have the possibility to put these visualizations into a PDF file and send it to the stakeholders, but in this case, not manually, but with an automated job. Another challenge was the fact that they manually had to flag the machines and turbines which are under maintenance for the moment. Before we did the project, they did that via CSV import into the database, which was done by the IT department. Now we created an app, also with Microsoft technology, with Microsoft Power Apps. Thus, every employee now is able to fill in this data via desktop, phone, or mobile in a very comfortable way. So what are the benefits of our solution? We have now not only a monthly reporting for monthly decision making, but reporting at a fingertip. This means there are no further manual adjustments needed. The process is completely automated, and we do not have only a monthly view, but a daily actualization of dashboards. But the most important point is that we set up and established a data analysis platform, which is highly performant, scalable for more use cases to come, and we have such things as an app template for manual input, which is also very helpful for further processes. While I'm telling you that, maybe you ask yourself, who is Provisions? And I'm happy to tell you now. So we are a company coming out of Germany, as Joe already said. We were founded 3 years ago in Saarbrücken, but we are not the classic startup, as we are 3 managing directors, bringing in all 10 to 20 years of experience in the IT surrounding with Microsoft technology and with BI topics. Today, we are delivering classic BI consulting in a holistic way, from project management via the classic development up to management and maintenance services. And as we already had some customers in Luxembourg, we decided to extend our services to Luxembourg. Thus, we founded Provisions SRL this year in May. Last but not least, you can now see an impression of our team, which we raised during the last 3 years. We would be really happy to do the same here in Luxembourg from now on, and would be happy to support you with your data challenges. So if you have any questions or want to have more information, don't hesitate to contact me via mail or via our website or my LinkedIn profile. Many thanks to Lux Innovation for the possibility to be here, and I wish you a nice day to every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Quite interesting. Also interesting projects that you had in Beyond. Quite cool. Thank you very much. I mean, the sneak preview is not planned to have questions, and I'm not sure. Yeah, indeed, a few came in. Christina, if you would not mind, maybe you can answer where we continue in parallel, just in writing, if you don't mind. That would be highly appreciated. Okay, and we move on with the last part of what we like to share. But before going there, first of all, a big thank you to all speakers, and sorry for that we had a bit of technical issues today. But I think we got really some interesting insights into the various projects, and also what actually data can deliver if you make something meaningful out of it. And I think that is also something that was quite consistent in all three examples. So thank you again, yeah, looking forward to continue our nice partnership here. For the audience, we would appreciate if you would fill out the second poll, because we all do these kind of events for you actually, and of course we like to improve, and we like also to receive feedback, positive or negative, where we can improve. So please move into the poll and give us your feedback on today's session. Highly appreciated. And to give also a little bit of an outlook of what is planned in the second half, the fifth episode is already planned for the 16th of September, so we go also a little summer break here. And this session next time will be about computer vision and artificial intelligence, because we see several examples in the market where this is actually a nice combination that can help companies to improve in regards to efficiency and quality management on the production floor. So in our opinion, quite an interesting topic. And a very important and critical initiative by us after the success we had last year is our DIH on tour. We are planning to be on the road again in the last 2 weeks of September and the first week of October. And with our colleagues from marketing, we will open on our web pages for free registrations already by next week. We are still working out the final program, but you will recognize on the registration you have also an option to recommend to us topics that you like to discuss as part of an awareness session or as part of our roundtable keynote speeches. So you have, again, here a signal that we like to provide the right information to you. So use the pre-registration and also save the date, because as we have seen last year, the places in the bus are limited. And to facilitate good discussions as we had it last year, we can also not extend it to a broader audience. So please go ahead, and you will all receive email invitations for the pre-registration by next week. We come to the end. We like to thank you all for joining today. And we hope that it satisfied really what you were expecting from this session. And we wish all of you a nice summer break, and hopefully see you back by end of August, mid of September, as part of the different events we are hosting here at the DIH. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.